I went right back, and the medic was on top of me, patching me up. But I said after that, I said to the guy, I said, hey, we ain't gonna volunteer for no more machine guns. Well, they had the tracers in them, so you could see where the bullets were going. Well, what the heck is you see where the bullets are going? They can see where you're at. Didn't take much, but those, if they shot lower, or the shell had been, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today.
Right.
So that was the guys in back, we took a beating.
Do you remember what kind of tank it was?
Yeah, Tiger tank,
Okay.
one of the big ones. And twin 50s.
So you were there several days between the time that tank arrived and the time you guys
Yeah, we
first
were
got
out
there.
on the outpost and all.
And you were in buildings, or were you digging foxholes?
No, we were in that house.
Okay.
We lived in that little house.
Okay, so you weren't digging it up?
No, not there.
Okay.
Now, when we got back, when they come and got us and we were on the outskirts, that's when we dug the foxhole. We had our own foxhole.
I heard the ground was very hard because it was so cold. Tell me about the weather.
Well, it was all right until it snowed when we were on the outpost that night. Then all of a sudden, what the thickens is this coming down? Then we had pretty good snowfall. And, you weren't equipped. I mean, you don't cry the blues, but you weren't equipped. I mean, the Germans had white uniforms. You had you could spot you a mile and a half away, but who complains? I mean, you had what you had and you did what you did.
So you didn't have a lot of winter gear, winter boots or anything?
No. Oh, yeah, it was regular. That's why they lost more men with frozen feet. That's what's the matter with my feet, but they ain't that bad.
So did you improvise? Were you able to find any material to help keep warm, or?
Not what we had. We were just what we had.
Okay.
They used to take all we had was sweeping, like mummy. They were like the mummy blankets. Now, if you got the artillery and all, them guys had some pretty good sweeping bags. That's what they tell me anyhow. Some of them foam jobs. But we had a mummy bag. And they used to cut the bottom out of them. So in case you had to get up and run during the night, you could run.
So you slept with your shoes on, I think.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it. Them shoes was on. I'll tell you, I was embarrassed. I mean, even with what you went through, when they got me back to that place there where the nurses were and all, and they come in there, and they come in there, and they're going to take my shoes off, and, oh, man. I said, man, they were used to everything going back there, but, boy, they peeled them socks right off of there, man. They hadn't been off in a week, I guess, anyhow. Wow. I mean, woo! Unbelievable. But that night they did drop him. I wish I'd kept a lot of that stuff. They had those propaganda jobs.
The Germans
go home,
did?
Yeah, go home for Christmas, surrender. Yeah, well, you don't think of that stuff. All the stuff you could have had. What good is it really when you figure it out? Hanging on a wall or something, that's all you're going to do.
And you mentioned Christmas. A lot of talk at the time was that a lot of guys expected that the war would be over by Christmas.
Well, they thought it was over. We don't know. We only go by what we heard. But they claim that Eisenhower, something was at the wedding. And all the guys up on that front line before the breakthrough were new draftees. They were not seasoned men. That's what we understood. And when that came through, them guys really took a beat. That's where they captured all them guys and then shot them, remember?
In Malmedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Malmedy massacre.
But they, I met a few of the guys in the hospital when I was in there. And they said there was nothing but boots coming through there. I mean, when they rode through there. But those guys were not hardened people. Like 101st, we were back in Paris. I mean, your outfits were the war, like you thought, was just about over until they come through there. And when they come through there, that must have been murder there. But why they ever went around Bastogne? They could have taken Bastogne anytime. I mean, there was nothing there. Even when that general or whatever he was, them officers come in and they blindfolded him, and our general told them nuts and told him to get out. There was nothing there. I mean, we didn't have nothing.
Now, when you were in your outpost, could you see the Germans? Were they
Down
close
the
enough?
road.
You could.
Yeah, we didn't bother them. They didn't bother us.
Do you see any armor or their vehicles?
All we seen was we had tank destroyers, they call them, and they were light, and they would come down to our outpost. Run up and down the road. They're keeping that open. Well, the TD man, the tank man, says, I need some volunteers. So he got the lieutenant. He says, you got men there? He said, yeah. Why? What are you going to do? He said, we're going to go up the field there and see if we can find these Germans where they're at. But I want your men to get in front of my equipment, and when you run into them, hit the ground and we'll take over. So we started to go up there, and it was so foggy, you couldn't see in front of you. So our lieutenant said, that's enough. He said, what's the matter? He said, I'm not going to leave my men up there like that. He says, come on, fall back. So the TD guy told him, he said, don't ever call on me again. He said, don't ever, if you need any help, don't call on me, just like that, So we all left. But he wanted us to walk down. He couldn't even see me and you.
Wow.
It was so thick.
Wow.
So that was an episode we had with them. There was one guy that we heard of that I never seen him, but he said he used to lay in the ditch like he was dead. The tank would go by and he'd get up and shoot in the track. Now whether he did it or not, I don't know. But I heard about it. That's the only way you're going to knock them out. But what we had. Yeah, our tanks were, you just didn't have it.
Yeah.
That shell there, that one day I seen that one go right through the fire and these guys come out. But I heard that one, man. That's the first time I ever heard that. It sounded like a train going down the road. They were shooting that shell, and it took all limbs off as it went down. But it sounded like a train going down there.
Wow.
That 88 was a good gun.
I bet it was.
That was a good gun.
And that's the shrapnel you took then in the shoulder,
Yeah, I
right?
took that piece in my shoulder.
Okay.
The other guys were bandaged up, a lot of them, but hitting the shoulder, in fact, I got a break. When I got back to the medical center, for some good reason, like all these things happen to be good reason, they put me on a stretcher. Now, I didn't really need a stretcher. See, I could walk. I had a bad shoulder. So when I got into that first aid station, they put me on a stretcher. And that nurse took all my boots off and all that stuff. And next thing I know, I'm on a plane, with a stretcher back to England. That was all right with me.
Yep.
And maybe if I hadn't been on a stretcher, I probably wouldn't have got back that far. But they took me back to England, so that was good.
So when you got back to England, you were in a hospital?
Yeah, in a hospital until you get straightened out. They tried to take it out, but it wouldn't come out. Man, oh man, they lay you on a table there and they pry you in there, to get it out. And my arm would go up and down like this, and I wasn't moving it, They're touching them muscles like that. So he said, I think we'll leave that in there. That won't hurt him. So they left it in there. Which I'm glad, man. Prying it in, my arm was, I couldn't keep my arm still. I guess they're touching certain muscles in there.
So how long were you there? Do you remember? Was it long or was it a long time?
In England? Not too long before they give you some calisthenics and stuff like that, got you back in shape, give you some new boots and ships you back over.
So then did you meet up with your original?
Oh yeah, that was the thing I liked about that. I heard, whether they did or not, I don't know, but I heard that with the regular army, you didn't always go back. Now whether that's true or not, I don't know. But the airborne, you were a regular, airborne outfit, a special outfit, so you went back. That was good. Then we rode the rest of the war out, going up through Birch's Garden.
Now, did you have any type of? There wasn't any attacks on your unit?
Not in the end.
What kind of
enjoyed
vehicles?
it.
What kind of vehicles were you in when you went?
Them ducks, big ducks. They were nice.
So you're just rolling on down?
Roll along there. We were happy.
Now you were in Berchtesgaden when the war ended?
When the war ended.
So what was your unit's reaction when you heard that the war was over?
Oh, I couldn't even really tell you. We just figured it's over, But we like I say, we had a break because we come into a small town Austrian town, and we lived there in the houses. They put us up, and there was one grave there right near the place where a pilot had got shot down, and they had buried him. And but my buddy Pop, we used to call him the oldest guy in the outfit. Him and I were buddies, and they said, we need guard duty. We'll go. Him and I went, and so we were walking around the town at night, just him and me. So we broke into the mess hall, the kitchen, and the cook had a big pot of pancake batter in there. So we scooped some of that out. We took it over to the German woman, and she wouldn't eat it, but she cooked it up for us. we had hotcakes over there. Yeah, we sitting there talking to him. We couldn't talk to him. She'd always say that I'd say, yeah, nine, and you speak German, she, yeah, like this, Then she'd say something to me. I said, nine, you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, we had quite a time. Man, I'll tell you, when we ended up in Austria, man, that water coming down through there, and man, you just throw that line in there, and boom, them trout come out of there. Man, my buddy, that ain't no way to fish, George. He threw a hand grenade in there. Oh, I said, don't do that, man. And they shot the deer. Mm-hmm. The deer was small over there, but they had big antlers on. Yeah, I went in. I think I told you, I went in that bar one time, and they had a great big owl in there. Stuffed owl. I put it in a box and tried to send it home. Yeah, that's loot, George. That's not souvenirs. That's loot. Oh, man, I could use that, man, for hunting crows. Boy, that was a beautiful crow. Beautiful owl. And they had them sheep with the horns. Yeah, we used to come out every morning, and the snow was on the mountain. Beautiful. Hey, Austria, oh my, what a country.
If you could go back, where would you go?
Austria.
You would? Loved it.
Go back and retire over there. Hey, as long as you let me fish that stream over there. Oh, that's the most beautiful country I ever seen.
Now, on your way to Berchtesgaden, during that time, Hitler had ordered the Germans to the scorched earth policy. Just destroy everything. We don't want to leave anything for the Allies. Did you experience any of that, or were things intact?
Everything was beautiful in there. Mm-hmm. Them towns were good. People were all right. Didn't have any trouble with them.
Did you have to do any engineering duties at all, like helping fix roads or hospitals or anything?
Not a thing towards the end. Mm-hmm. No, we had it made.
During your whole time, did you ever encounter any POW camps or concentration camps?
I didn't. Okay. We didn't run into anything like that.
Okay.
All we seen was the prisoners being taken out of Holland back down the road after we got in there.
During that time, the war was over in Europe, but it was still going on in Japan. Yep. Were they training you guys to go to Japan?
They weren't training us, but we were heading for Japan.
Were you excited to go, or were you hoping that it wouldn't be the case?
Not too much. Not after what we went through over there. Uh-huh. And I'll tell you, we were pretty gun-shy. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're all right, We didn't have any problems, but it was nice when they dropped a bomb, and that ended it. Yep. Then we had to wait over there for our numbers. They brought us back by numbers.
So there was a lottery system?
Yeah. But see, that made it good because I didn't gamble, and I kept my money. And so they come around and ask, anybody want to furlough to England? Well, I'm sitting there, and I go see my cousin. I'd never seen her before.